Hello, I'm Päivi, and in this video I show you how I store my colored pencil art. I'm really enthusiastic about colored pencils. I work as an artist and I create big oil paintings and I create watercolor paintings and I sell them. But an important part of my artistic process is to create colored pencil drawings, and even if I don't sell them, I create courses about expressing yourself with them, and I'm really enthusiastic about colored pencils. Now you might think that storing your art is not important at all. That is not something that would prevent you from creating. But I've noticed that many times people think that, oh, I don't know, I think I'm artistic, but I want to create something that I can put in use, embroider or knit or do something more crafty just because it's more useful. And I get that, of course, I knit too, but art is something different because you can express yourself much more freely. Drawing, painting, they are totally different activities, I think. And I would like to encourage you to see the value in drawing and painting, and especially get enthusiastic about colored pencils. Colored pencils are so important because they are so easy to grab. I have, and I think that you have too, used colored pencils as a child. Colored pencils have a special connection. We have used them as children, and now when we use them as adults, it's magical because we get the connection to our creativity through the inner child that we have inside us. So I really value colored pencils. I've organized them in these shallow boxes based on their colors. I have many different brands in the same box. Then I also have watercolor pencils. These are regular pencils, but then I also have watercolor pencils. And I have Caran d'Ache Museum aquarelle pencils. And I've saved the original boxes, but I've reorganized them by color. And I've removed the dividers there. So these are just freely in the box. And it's much easier to grab the pencils when they lay freely on the box. So this is how I store my colored pencils. But now let's look at the pieces that I created during the years and how I store them. So, here's the cabin. I have my art supplies and different kinds of journals. Even if I'm a full-time artist, I don't have a lot of supplies. I like to put my money on a bit more expensive supplies and have a little less of them than having a lot of cheap supplies. The top shelf is full of journals, and journals are great for storing colored pencil pieces. I have some dedicated journals. So I have this kind of quite small journal, and I've made spreads of colored pencil drawings. And there's quite a lot of colored pencil drawings. And you can color freely. You don't have to follow any reference photo. You can color freely. I color mostly freely. And I love doing that. I have all kinds of illustrations, and sometimes colored pencils can be really expressive, have lots of lines. You can even draw just a heart and then some around it. Colors, they are just so enjoyable. I also have a chapter called Fun Botanicum, which is also a course. I have online courses of colored pencils, and they are often, the pieces that I made for courses are often made for journals. So here was a chapter and more. So this is one thing, to use a journal for colored pencil pieces. You might think that, oh, maybe I'm a bit more beginner, but don't worry. I've also started from quite clumsy stuff. I have smaller journals. I have used my pieces as collages, so sometimes if a colored pencil piece isn't so successful, I have used it as a collage. Or then I've just divided the page in sectors and colored the sectors. Here are some watercolors, do some mixed media. This was when I was practicing. So very simple things, and these are many years ago. So when I've started with these and end up with this artistic journey has been documented in these books. Here's one example of just how you can just make a box somewhere on a diary or something and then just color it. It doesn't have to represent anything. It can also be just a surface. Just I've been inspired by fabrics, ikat and indigo. It's just fun to color. So these are old journals, these two old Moleskine journals, and then this is a newer one. Try to put some dates or years, because afterward it's pain to try to figure out when you've created something, and later you want to know. I know, because I just organized my recent pieces that had been drawn on separate pieces of paper in this kind of simple folder that has plastic sleeves, and I wanted to put these in approximately chronological order so that I can see how my thoughts have changed and developed, and this is from many years. I wanted the folder to have a cover piece, and luckily I found this kind of drawing that had white area in the middle, and there I just wrote that these are colored pencil art and my name. So it's just a joy to open it when I have the cover on the folder. And then I have pieces from different years. These bring a lot of memories. I have an ebook called Coloring Freely, which was created several years ago. I wanted to create a small ebook that shows how to move from coloring pages to art journaling and to create more freely. And these are the pieces some of the pieces that I have in the book. These are just simple and fun. When we got our newest dog, Saima, I wanted to create a drawing about her. And this is more like in the traditional way that colored pencils are often used. Often I see people picking a reference photo and creating a drawing from that. But that's actually not my specialty at all. I enjoy coloring freely, and I enjoy just discovering what my mind can figure out. So I have more like these kind of pieces, often nature related, but still fantastical. There might be some humans or human-like figures, but I'm more into flowers and plants. I've sometimes made a coloring page for myself, but usually I just color freely. And it can be abstract too. I enjoy using colored pencils for abstract art. All kinds of flowers can appear there quite effortlessly when you create layers. I have also this kind of sections. I like to create sections and use smaller ideas in the borders and then bigger ideas in the center. So I have these kind of pieces that have smaller drawings in a bigger piece. Often when you create with colored pencils, even A4 size, approximately letter size, can feel too large because it takes time to layer up all the colors. So often it's easier if you start from a small, like create a small area first, and then slowly within time add more and build a bigger piece. So they can be just circles that you fill. I have a watercolor course called Joyful Coloring, and I made this mood board for it from the pieces that I had created before. So when I organize my pieces in folders and such, I also organize the photos of them on my computer so that I can find them easily. And I organize them by year. And this way it's much easier to find the pieces. And I also give a name for the piece when I file it, because that's then easier to remember. Often when they are on paper, I don't always give them names right away, but I always try to remember to scan, and then I just name them with something that is descriptive. Joyful Coloring was such a fun to create. As a quick practice, we create this kind of bigger piece, but every lesson as one quick project, and then when you have done all the lessons, you have one big piece. And then we also create some bigger pieces. Watercolor pencils are easier in that way that you can use water and you can then spread the color much quicker than with regular pencils. So these are also pieces made for the course. I also love this one. And then I have more of this kind of section, a bit cubistic, and then a very painterly style. And then some that have been born small, but then I've just combined them here in the folder, and I think it looks just lovely. So I treat these folders as books, and art journals also. When I create colored pencils drawings on them, I treat them as books. They can have chapters, they can have divisions, all kinds of pieces can go there. Drawings can have some writing, some words. You can also create a spread or one page by attaching many small drawings. So these are the drawings I made for the course Mystical Minis, which is a course about drawing abstracts freely. These are all separate pieces. I just put a tape underneath, and these are all attached as a group. And I love this spread. I think it's so beautiful. I also have even smaller pieces, and these pieces have backgrounds. So I've also colored backgrounds because these are like small tarot cards. And I've attached them here so that they just attached on the top of the plastic sleeve, and they are in the separate plastic pouches, plastic sleeves. And this way I can also look at the back. So I have abstract pieces, and then I also have this piece that is still in progress. I've just colored the first layer with a neutral color, some shapes, and I'm continuing this maybe next week. And so I can store that there. And I also have a color chart of my watercolor pencils here. So this is my current folder where I create separate pieces. But then I also have more journals for you to show. I have a video about this full art journal where I browse this and where you can see all the pages. But here I also have some colored pencil pieces. I suggest to watch the video. You can see how I've created the book. It has colored pencils, watercolors, all kinds of pieces. And as you can see, I also have attached separate pieces that I first created as individual things. and then I've just attached them there, and then I made the whole page. So all your colored pencil pieces don't have to be big drawings. If you want to create something letter size or A4 size, so a bit bigger, and then you want to have all those organized, but not in a folder, not with the plastic sleeves, then I suggest that you have this kind of bigger art journal. I have a course called Intuitive Coloring, and I've created those pieces here. I practiced some, these are just practices, and then I've created pieces for the course that are exercises for the course. These are really fun pieces, and it's a really fun course. Maybe my most popular course, at least among my most popular courses, Intuitive Coloring. So I have all kinds of pages here. This journal is also quite full. Some like to color on brown pages, and I have a journal that has brown pages too here. I have some played with the portraits here, and as a part of the course Innovative Portraits, and it's fun to color on brown paper too. I talked about attaching smaller drawings on an art journal page, and here's one example, and this is made for the course Hearts and Stories. I have more of these smaller pieces that I haven't used yet. So I store them in these kind of boxes, and this box even has a small box inside, and these are like my scrap pictures, my die cuts, or what would you call them? These are just hand cut colored pencil pieces. Some have even some coloring on the wrong side, on the back side, and some of them are more like ink drawings, and but some have more colored pencils. In this box especially I have colored pencils pieces, and this is created for the course Doll World. I've made so many courses about colored pencils. These are a bit bigger dolls. It's often much easier to draw when you have a bigger paper, but then with colored pencils it can take a little more time. So I have all kinds of mystical creatures here, small people, and then some bigger fairies, all made with colored pencils. I really enjoy browsing these, and I really enjoy storing these this way, and every time I come to the page that doesn't look so nice, I always know I can still save it, because I have these treasure boxes that I call boxes of joy. I hope I was able to inspire you with all these colored pencil pieces, and I hope you start creating with colored pencils, even if it's first just a tiny piece of paper. It can later turn into a bigger treasure. This weekend I'm running a birthday sale. 3 of my colored pencil courses. Intuitive Coloring, which is a basic course for coloring freely with colored pencils. Joyful Coloring, which is for watercolor pencils. And then Mystical Minis, which is for coloring abstract pieces. I recommend Mystical Minis especially because I think the whole course is art. The videos are very extraordinary, and the pieces that you will create are extraordinary, and it's a course that you want to come back from time to time. If you miss this sale and you watch this video later, my courses are very affordable, so don't let that hold back. So welcome to my courses, and especially I hope that you will grab those colored pencils and start creating.